Morning at 10 a.m. Eastern when Dr. Michael Good and the Atlanta Braves manager Bobby Cox join us live to talk about the program. That's today, this morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Well, earlier this morning we told you about the Homeless Pets Foundation and its efforts to rescue stray and injured animals from the shelters. Dr. Michael Good started the foundation 7 years ago and helped find new homes for nearly 3,000 dogs and cats. They would otherwise have been put to sleep. Now Dr. Good's foundation teams up with Major League Baseball and legendary manager Bobby Cox. They're creating a new nationwide rescue program, Bobby Cox's Paws Cause. Joining me now is Dr. Michael Good and the National League Manager of the Year. He is, for us here in Atlanta, the Manager of the Year every year, Bobby Cox. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. I have to tell you, Doctor, tell us how this whole program got started for you. And my goodness, I saw a number that was astounding, 3 to 4 million pets put down a year.
Yeah.
That's a sad number.
Yeah,
how did this get started for you?
Well, being a veterinarian,
Yeah.
for the last 20 some odd years, before I was a vet, I was an animal lover, and so I tried to use my skills as a veterinarian to volunteer and help at local shelters. And what I found was just a no-win situation. These poor animals had nowhere where to go. The people working at these shelters are frustrated and sad because so many of these poor animals have to be put to sleep.
Yeah.
So about 7 years ago, I said, as an animal lover, I'm going to try to do something. So I started an ID program because a lot of these animals that end up in animal shelters are lost pets that belong to someone.
They just wander off.
They take
right.
a left-hand turn instead of a right-hand turn out of their driveway, and they end up in a shelter. Their pet parent, is out of town on a 3-day business trip. They don't have an identification on, and 3 days later they're put to sleep because there's not a cage space anymore. And it was just tragic. So I wanted to do something. I started with that, and then it led to getting involved actually doing rescue work. And I found that the solution is getting animal lovers like myself, and there's 130 million of us.
And this man.
And this guy and his lovely wife.
Yeah.
Family, to get involved, help foster, help get the word out about this terrible problem we're having, and a country this great and this rich
should be able to
solve it.
Yeah, and Bobby, you get involved. Tell us why. I mean, look, you've got a full and active life. You're running a major league ball club here, and now you've taken on this cause. There has to be a reason beyond you just being a pet lover.
Well, we are pet lovers, my family, and our daughter's a big pet lover and actually adopted a dog out of a shelter in Tallahassee when she was at Florida State. And knowing Mike for the last couple of years, we've been kicking this around, and it would sure be nice to stop the execution of a lot of dogs. And we know there's a need for dogs in the north part of the United States, and hopefully we can do this here, raise some money, transport those dogs north or locally also.
And cats.
And cats, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, anything with paws, that's what we're trying to help.
And Doctor, that's the interesting point, is that there apparently is a large number, we have a large number of pets here in the southeast that need homes, and that there are other areas in the country with potential pet parents that don't have access, that want to adopt these pets.
Yeah. And Bobby and I are going to be working with large corporations like Purina. Novartis is a manufacturer of heartworm prevention and flea control products. These companies, through their salespeople, are going to help us identify the shelters that got their act together, that are educating their communities about spay, neuter, and being a responsible pet parent. And they have waiting lists of people wanting these pets. So what we're going to do through Bobby Cox Paws Cause is take the animals that we have a surplus down here. We're going to fix them so they can't reproduce. We're going to make them healthy and whole. And then we're going to ship them up there to those identifying shelters and have waiting homes waiting for them.
I tell you what, Bobby, it would be great if you could get Major League Baseball, all the teams in Major League Baseball, to join in on this effort on your part. What are the chances of that happening?
I'm going to do some talking to the commissioner, Bud Selig, and also his right-hand man, Bob DuPay and see if that's going to be possible. Tony La Russa does this out in
Yes,
California
yes.
and has a tremendous organization, and we'd like to start one here. So Major League Baseball would be good for this cause.
Well, Bobby, at the very least, now all the activities involved in this that you've just described in making the pets whole again and the shots and everything else, that's expensive. There are costs associated with that. It would be great, Bobby, wouldn't it, if Major League Baseball would help you underwrite some of those costs?
Well, it would be, absolutely, and Mike's talking about the corporations right now,
Yeah.
too, trying to get them involved.
I'll get the money from the corporations. What we want is a Tony La Russa or a Bobby Cox to basically say to their community through public service announcements, hit a home run for your community and your family, adopt from your local animal shelter.
Did you just write that? Is that wait.
But another thing Bobby and I both feel, every child in America should know and appreciate the game of baseball. It's a beautiful game. It's a part of our history. It's a part of our future. It's what makes us Americans. But the other thing that we both agree that every child in America should have is a pet.
Right.
A child that grows up with a pet is more responsible, connects and communicates better with other people. So we think it's therapeutic. And it's a tragedy that 4 to 7 million animals are destroyed every year, and their only crime is they're homeless.
The ID tags. Got to mention the ID tags. Now, is my personal information, I'm a pet owner, my dog has wandered away, is my personal information, am I creating a tag that has my address and all this on it?
Let me tell you something. And with today's news of terrorists and attacks all over the world, we live in a society now where we don't want to give out our information. Our foundation, the Homeless Pets Foundation, this information is confidential. If a terrorist finds my dog and calls that number, then they're going to contact me and say, hey, we think a terrorist has your dog. You want to talk to him. It's my choice. So the information is kept confidential, and we think that's the perfect ID tag.
Yeah.
Your name and information isn't floating around town on an ID tag. We keep it in a confidential database.
We have a website? I'm looking around here.
HomelessPets.com.
Great to see you. Great
Thank
work.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bobby Cox.
Thank you,
Great
Tony.
to see you. Good luck next year.
You